Good morning all of you, my dear students. In this session, it is a part of the semi-modal verbs, and we have already known the semi-modal verbs. They are 4 in number. In previous classes, the semi-modal verbs basically number 1 is ought to, need, and dare, used to. Ought to, need, used to, dare, used to. These are called semi-modal verbs in English language. Only 4 semi-modal verbs are there. We have already known about these semi-modal verbs. I have explained in the previous class. And then semi-modal verbs means what is the meaning of semi-modal verbs? They have functions both main verbs and modal verbs. That is the main difference. Semi-modal verbs are used both as modal verbs and main verbs. That's why they are called semi-modal verbs. In previous class, I have explained you about the ought to, and need. In this, I have been completed 6 parts regarding to modal verbs. 6 classes I have taught you, and this is the class number 7. In this session, the last 2 semi-modal verbs we are going to discuss. Those are in this session. Number 1 is dare, and number 2 is last one is used to. These 2 modal verbs we will discuss in this class, my dear students. Okay, in this 7th part number 7, the last 2 semi-modal verbs we are discussing in this class. Please listen carefully. Regarding to this modal verb dare, this is the meaning of the day. First of all, we discuss the meaning, and I am going to teach about the meaning. Dare means, what is the meaning of dare? Dare means the courage. We are also show the courage. Courage means bold. Dare means courage and bold, daring and dashing hero. Dare means have the courage to do something. If you want to do something, we must be courage. We must have courage and behave either or. This modal verb functions as a main verb or modal verb. That's why it is called semi-modal verb or quasi-modal verb or marginal verb. Marginal. These are synonyms of the semi-modal verbs. First of all, we are discussing about the modal verb as a modal verb. We are as a semi-modal. Modal verb, generally modal verbs or functions. What are the main functions of the modal verbs? They tells of the moods of the persons, moods of the speakers. They are special verbs that are different from normal verbs, modal verbs, and they never used alone and used always followed by one of the principal verb. They provide a additional meaning. That is the meaning of the modal verb. But in this class, dare, what is the meaning? Dare means courage. Dare means courage. It is the meaning of the literal meaning of the dare. First of all, we discuss as a modal verb. As a modal verb, dare is used mostly in English language as negative sentences and interrogative sentence. That is more important, my dear students. Negative sentences, negative and interrogative. These 2 sentences, when we frame, we used dare as a modal verb. As a modal verb, Dare is used negative and interrogative sentences, but it is followed by bare infinitive. Bare infinitive. Already I gave a class, I have done a video on the bare infinitive or plain infinitive. That means bare infinitive means without adding to, that is called bare infinitive. To live. We delete the live, it is a bare infinitive. It is a plain infinitive without to. We add preceding the word is to, a prefix added to, it is called to infinitive. But as a modal verb, you should understand basic rule. As a modal verb, we should understand as a modal verb, it is followed by bare infinitive. It is followed by bare infinitive. Bare means without adding, without prefix to go, to run, to speak, to love. These are the two infinitives. Love, do, can, love, do, run, walk. These are bare infinitives. It is important rule. As a modal verb functions in a sentence, it followed by bare infinitive. Mostly these sentences are used, negative sentences generally used in interrogative sentences. That is more important. We have been using, we construct the sentence, we frame the sentence. The function of the dare is as a modal verb, we have been using to construct the negative sentence, to frame the interrogative sentence. For example, I will write one example to clarify your date. So I did not write so many examples, my dear student. And how dare she criticize us? For example, how dare she criticize? She criticized. How dare she criticize us? How dare she criticize us? This is an interrogative form. How dare? It is not followed to. How dare she criticize? The bare infinitive does not follow the modal verb, semi-modal verb dare. Semi-modal verb dare it does not follow the to infinitive, it followed the bare infinitive. How dare she criticize us? It is used as a modal verb. Dare and criticize is a main verb. What is the definition of the modal verb? Modal verb never used alone. It is followed by principal verb or main verb. Main verb, what is main verb? Is criticize is a main verb. Dare is a modal verb. It is one of the construction. How dare she criticize us? How dare she criticize us? It is interrogative sentence. The dare as a modal verb mostly used in interrogative sentences and negative sentences. Interrogative means questions. That is you should understand. In negative sentence, I will give you a simple example. For example, I dare not. I dare not think. I dare not think. Think is a main verb. It is a negative sentence. How many victims are there? How many victims are there? How many victims are there? I dare not think how many victims are there. That means it is a negative sentence, but it is a bare infinitive. It is a main verb. What is the rule? The bare infinitive never used alone. It always followed by main verb or principal verb. Main verb or principal. These are the two main functions have been done by the bare infinitive and as a modal verb. As a modal verb, my dear students. And that dare is used as a main verb and semi-modal verb. What is the meaning of the dare? What is the meaning of the dare? Challenge somebody. With this meaning, it can be used. It can be used. Next, we will discuss about some more example I will give you as a pair. We use no one dare go there. No one dare. No one dare. No one dare go there. Go there. No one dare go there. Here, dare is a modal verb. Go is a main verb. What is the meaning of no one dare go there? There is no courage, there is no bold to go particular place. It is a dangerous place. No one dare go there. No one dare go there. That is also negative sentence. That is also negative sentence, my dear students. Daren't go there, daren't go. It is also negative sentence. Daren't go there, daren't go there. This is a modal verb, main verb is daren't go there. I have been explaining about the function of the dare as a modal verb in this session. It is as a modal verb. Daren't go there, daren't go there. It is semi-modal verb. We don't use infinitive to after semi-modal verb. Dare in the expression. How dare you? How dare you suggest she was lazy? For example, one of the negative sentence. How dare you suggest? SUGGST. How dare you suggest she was lazy? How dare you suggest? Suggest is a main verb. Dare is a modal verb. It functions as a modal verb. How dare you suggest she was a lazy person. She was a lazy girl. In affirmative sentence, frequently is less commonly used. Dare as a modal verb, less commonly it can be used as a semi-modal verb, followed by an infinitive. Infinitive without to, bare infinitive. It is also same thing. As an affirmative sentence, for example, I will take, mostly it is commonly used in the negative forms and interrogative forms. In assertive form, an affirmative sentence, it is less used in affirmative sentence. For example, as a declarative sentence, he dare say he will come later. He dare say he will come later. It is an affirmative sentence. It is a declarative sentence. It is a statement. It is less commonly used in affirmative sentences. It is more used in negative sentences and interrogative sentences. He dare say you are right. One more example as affirmative sentence. He dare say you are right. You are right. It is an affirmative sentence. It is less used in affirmative sentence. It mostly used as a interrogative sentence, as a negative sentence. But next we will discuss about the dare infinitive as a main verb, because it is a semi-modal verb. It functions both modal verb and main verb. Dare is used as a modal verb. Dare is as a modal verb. It can be followed by bare infinitive or to infinitive. As a modal verb, it must be followed only bare infinitive. It is both possible in this as a main verb, modal verb. Through the examples, we will explain you. As a main verb, it can be used. It can followed bare infinitive or to infinitive. For example, through this example, as a main verb we are discussing now. After completion of the modal verb, the functions of the dare. Now we are discussing this dare modal verb functions as a main verb. For example, do you dare to tell him? Do you dare? Do you dare? Do you dare to tell him? Do you dare to tell him? The continuation is what happened at this time? Do you dare to tell him? Do you dare to tell him? To tell. To tell, it follows to infinitive. Do you dare to tell him what happened at this time? The bare infinitive followed to. What is the rule? The rule is as a main verb dare. Dare is as a main verb can be followed by bare infinitive or to infinitive. For example, we delete the to. Do you dare tell him? It is also right. Both are correct. Either it follow the to infinitive or it follow the bare infinitive. Do you dare tell him what happened at this time? It is a major function, you should understand. As a main verb, it follows bare infinitive as well as to infinitive. Both are correct. That is more important, my dear students. For example, one more example. Who dares to agree with me? For example, I will write one example. Who dares to agree with me? To agree with who dares to agree with me? Who dares to agree with me? The dare as a modal, as a main verb here, it follows to infinitive to agree. It is a right sentence. For example, we dropped to. Who dares agree with me? Who dares agree with me? It is also right. The rule is dare infinitive can be followed as a main verb, bare infinitive and to infinitive. That's why both are right. And for example, he did not dare to look back. For example, he did not dare to look back. He did not dare to look back. To look back. He did not dare to look back. He did not dare, it is a simple past tense, did plus V1. Dare is a main verb. He did not dare to look back. To look is a to infinitive. The dare is a main verb, follow the to infinitive. It is also right. If you drop the to, he did not dare look back. It is also right. That means it follows the bare infinitive or to infinitive as a main verb. As a main verb, that is more important, my dear students. But in some occasions, one exception is there, exception. One exception is there. What is that exception? In the exception, don't you dare, don't you dare. This phrase take plain infinitive or without to. This is exception. But in the expression, don't you dare, if you start the sentence don't you dare, we should not use to infinitive. It is followed by bare infinitive. That is more important. We must clear about this sentence, my dear students. Don't confuse. It is an exception. Generally, as a main verb it has been used, it follows to infinitive or bare infinitive, both are right. But in some, one exception is there. One phrase, the beginning of the phrase, don't you dare. With the phrase we start the sentence, it follows the only bare infinitive but not to infinitive. For example, don't you dare interrupt. Don't you dare interrupt me. Don't you dare disturb me, interrupt. Don't you dare to interrupt. It is wrong. Don't you dare is a phrase which starts the sentence. It takes only plain infinitive but not to infinitive. This is the exception you should remember, my dear students. Don't you dare interrupt me. To interrupt me, it is a wrong usage. Don't you dare disturb me. Don't you dare talk to me. Don't you dare complain about him. Complaint. To complaint is a wrong usage. In this usage, we should understand, my dear students. You should understand the exceptions are, so many exceptions are there in English grammar. They are beyond the rule. In this situation, they did not follow the as usual. But the meaning of the bare infinitive we have already know. The courage to do something, courage, a challenge, especially to prove our courage, a challenge, especially to prove our courage, all boldness, bold, dare. It is a venture. For example, as a main verb we are discussing, he does not dare to speak. He does not dare to speak to me. He does not dare speak to me. Both are right. He does not dare to speak to me. He does not dare speak to me. To be brave enough. The dare means to be brave enough to do something difficult. The meaning is to do something difficult or very dangerous. You should understand the meaning of the dare. Do you dare? For example, through the examples we have to understand, my dear students. Do you, as a main verb I am discussing, do you dare to tell him the news? Do you dare to tell him the news? For example, you drop the to, it is also right. As a main verb, dare follows either to infinitive or a plain infinitive. Do you dare to tell him the news? It is a right one. Do you dare tell him the news without to? It is also right one. That is the meaning. For example, I dare not think how much it is going to cost. I dare not think. I dare not think. It is as a main. I dare not think. To ask to someone to do something. I dare you to ask him to dance. In situation I dare you to ask him to dance. For example, dare is as a noun form. Dare as a noun form, what is the usage? How do construct the sentence? Already we have know the meaning of the dare. It is a challenge, especially to prove our courage. To be brave enough to do something difficult and very dangerous. As a noun, something difficult or dangerous that we do because someone asks us to do us. Someone asks to us. For example, as a noun form, what is the example? As a noun form it functions. He jumped into. It is followed preposition. Into, a movement. It is a motion. Jumped into. It is a verb followed preposition. Into is a suitable preposition, appropriate preposition here. When I discuss about preposition, I will explain you. He jumped into the river. On a dare. A dare before article, it is a noun. On a dare, he jumped into the river on a dare. It functions as a noun, but not a verb. It is the explanation, in detailed explanation, as a main verb, as a modal verb, that means semi-modal verb, As a noun form, it functions. In this class, in this session, I have explained you the modal verb there. One more modal verb is there, that is used to. In next session, I will explain you about that one. All of you, goodbye, my dear students, and best of luck, everyone.